People love the idea of leaders. People love the idea in these days of influencers, of kings and politicians, leaders who can lead them and influence them and motivate them and cover them. But people resist the reality of the rule. People love the idea of a king God, but they resist the reality of his rule over their lives. So we are drawn to benefit of God's presence. We are taught to benefit from God's presence, and we should. But we hesitate at the demand of his authority. We are quick to receive him as a savior, but we are slow to bow to him as a king. We all love the language of grace, of breakthrough, of miracles and favors, but we wrestle with discipline of obedience. We want a God who can comfort. We want a God who can deliver. We want a God who can save us from troubles, anxiety, and depression, but we don't want a king who can govern us. This is the reality, and this is where they switched so quickly because the expectations were not met. So it's the same contradictions that filled the street of Jerusalem then now fills the church in the modern times. The contradictions. We sing, we shout, we declare, but the deeper question remains still untouched. And what is that question? Who is actually governing and ruling your life? Who is the king over you? Who is in charge? So they were not wrong in celebrating. The error was not in their praises. The error was in their perception. Jesus wept because they were blind. They could shout, they could scream, but they were blind. So the error was not in their praises, the error was in their perception. They saw Jesus, but they saw him through the lenses of their own expectation. And what were they looking for? What were the expectations? They were looking for a deliverer. They were looking for a military leader. They were looking for a visible ruler who would overthrow Roman oppression and restore Israel to national prominence. In fact, Jews are still fighting for that. That was the expectation. They wanted a king who would confront Caesar at that time, not a king who would confront them, who will confront their sins, who will confront their souls. They wanted a king who would confront their enemies. They wanted an external change without an internal transformation.